streaming community is absolutely crucial. It is the best way to convert viewers and followers into community members. But it can be kind of tough to make one, and you have to learn about roles and different verification rules and banning and moderation. It's a bit tough. Don't worry, I've set it up for you. All it takes is one click on the link in the description and you'll have your own Discord server. Today, I'll show you how to run it, set it up, and grow your community. Let's go. Hey, my name is LJ with StreamScheme.com. I'm also a variety streamer over at twitch.tv/LJN_. Links to both those in the description. I have a question for you. Why haven't you started a Discord yet? I'm actually being serious. Is it that it's just too tough? Are the roles scary? Are the verifications scary? Comment down below so I can deep dive into anything that is stopping you from creating a Discord. And also let me know what are the best Discord channels you've seen in the servers that you're on. Today I'm going to show off the Stream Scheme template link for Discord servers. Essentially all you have to do is click it, it'll ask you to populate and create a new server, and then I'll walk you through how to edit it, add your own roles, verify people, and go on from there. There are time codes as well as the actual template link in the description down below, so check those out if you want to skip ahead. However, let's just jump into it with the template link and I'll explain what kind of server you're getting your hands on today. I know I've already said it 3 times, but I have to say it again. The top link in the description is the template Discord server. Click that, it will prompt you to open up and create your own Discord server using that template, and you'll be good to go. Okay? Top link. You can do this, guys. Please don't comment. This template server comes with all of the categories, channels, permissions, roles, all set up for you. They're good to go. The only thing this server doesn't come with is Twitch subscriber role set up because you have to do that on an individual level. However, don't worry, at the end of this video, I will give you directions to get that set up. So what kind of categories and channels have we pre-built into this template for you? Well, it comes with a welcome channel, announcements, YouTube video if you're doing YouTube content, rules and info. You have to type in your own rules and fill it out, so we can't put those for you. It has everything you need in a base Discord, but as I said, we'll show you how to make your own ones today as well. First thing you probably need to learn is how to create an invite so that when you have finished with your Discord and you're ready to start getting new community members into it or setting it up for your mods, how do you create an invite link to get them in? Well, very, very easy. Go over to server settings, click invite people, and then here's where you can edit it. Now there are 2 options in this section once you click edit a link. The first is how many users. I have mine set to 100 users before the link expires, and that is because I'm worried about bots and stuff like that coming into my server and filling it up. If I have 100 users and someone tries to bot my Discord server, it'll get caught and shut off that invite link. The second is the time expiration. How long will the link last for? For now, I recommend setting it so that the time expiration is infinite, it's not going to expire, and the amount is 100. This will be easy for you to switch out and in as your Discord grows bigger. Copy that link and start sending it out to the community members. Put it in your panel, put it wherever you want. But there are a few things you probably want to do before that, which is including creating your own channels, adding in your rules and info, and generally making new roles. So I'll show you guys how to do that now. Setting up roles and verification for the server is easy. Now it actually comes with pre-built roles and verification. The first would be everyone, meaning anyone who joins would be that role, and then they can be assigned roles. Verified is someone who's just joined, they're a normal community member, they can interact with whoever they want. There are community mods, which are people who have a little bit of power, but not the whole power of the Discord. These people help moderate, make sure nothing bad happens. Moderators, you're very, very trusted mods. These are the people who you know are not going to do anything wrong. And admins, this is your role, the leader of the Discord, or whoever is going to run the Discord for you. For now, I would recommend doing a manual verification process. It's a bit easier and safer to start with while you're learning, and in the future, you can set up a bot to verify people. So, to start with, I recommend writing in the rules and info. People have to go to #serveraccess, which is the channel that's already created for you. And they have to post their Twitch username or whatever the other thing they need to post for you to verify them. And once they've done that, a mod can click on their name, click the little plus button, and click verify. This means that person can now see the rest of the Discord and they're good to go. If you want to add your own roles, it's very, very simple. Head to server settings, go to your roles, and click add a new role. Now please be very, very careful when you do this to make sure you set up all of the roles information themselves. Don't give them too much power unless you're trying to create a moderation role, because if you accidentally create a new role and start setting people to it, you may accidentally create someone who can delete the entire channel or kick you out of your own server. so be very, very careful. Now I'm going to show you guys how to set up your own channels, categories, a few other things soon, but I'll throw it out there. If this video has helped you out at all, if you choose to use our template link, maybe let us know by commenting down below, or subscribe to the video because it really helps us out as well. Don't forget to check out our free overlays in our Discord, and if you need any help, you can also ask questions there. Links in the description. So how do you create your own channel inside this template? Well, it's very, very easy. Today I'm going to show you how to set up a staple of every streaming community, pet photos channel. Seriously, this is in every single streamer Discord, and if you're in one that this isn't in, is it really a streamer's Discord if there's no pet photos? Come on. So there are a few ways to do this today. I'm going to show you guys how to do it by adding to the category. Go to the general category, hit the little plus sign, and click add a new channel. We're going to name this pet photos today, and then we should be good to go. If you're creating this inside our Discord template, and it's that exact way, it'll inherit the permissions from the category. If you aren't, then you're going to need to right click on that channel, click permissions, and set that up manually. An example of this is what you're going to do is add a new permission to it, add the verified role or whatever your base role for a viewer is called, and then you're going to have to change these settings. What you want to set for someone who's a verified member is so they can't create an invite inside our Discord template, and you've done it that exact way, it'll inherit the permissions from the category. If you aren't, then you're going to need to right click on that. Is it really a streamer's Discord if there's no pet photos? Come on. So there are a few ways to do this today. I'm going to show you guys how to do it by adding to the category. Go to the general category, hit the little plus sign, and click add a new channel.
Okay, maybe I missed something. Maybe I missed something.
This is in every single streamer Discord, and if you're in one that this isn't in, is it really a streamer's Discord if there's no pet photos? Come on. So there are a few ways to do this today. I'm going to show you guys how to do it by adding to the category. Go to the general category, hit the little plus sign, and click add a new channel. We're going to name this pet photos today, and then we should be good to go.
I didn't get all the extra stuff when I clicked private channel. Next. Pet photos.
If you're creating this inside our Discord template and you've done it that exact way, it'll inherit the permissions from the category. If you
Mine is not showing me none of that shit. Why I don't see permissions? And, oh, there you go.
If you're creating this inside our Discord template and you've done it that exact way, it'll inherit the permissions from the category. If you aren't, then you're going to need to right click on that channel, click permissions, and set that up manually. An example of this is what you're going to do is add a new permission to it, add the verified role or whatever your base role for a viewer is called, and then you're going to have to change these settings. What you want to set for someone who's a verified member is so they can't create invites, they can't
so everybody can view it.
manage the channel at all since that's a moderation tool. Let them read, send messages.
Create invites. Nope. Text channel permissions.
No TTS, no managing the messages, because again, that's for mods. Let them embed links. It's up to you if you want them to attach files, but this can be dangerous. Obviously, they can send viruses or trojans by accident. They're allowed to read the message history. I think it's very important. And I would say don't let them tag everyone. External emojis is a no worries. And of course,
Mentions. Nope. Manage messages. Absolutely not. Pin message.
reactions are a no-brainer because reactions rock. If you're wondering how to add emojis to your channel and category, like type
Um, Allow apps that members have added to their account to post messages in this channel. Let's see what happened. All right, what's next?
Titles, it's actually really easy. What you have to do is go to the Discord server on your phone app, hold down, edit the name, and then just put the emoji using your phone. It is the fastest way I've found to do it. There are a few other ways, but that is the fastest way to do it. The next step is a bit daunting, apparently. I've been talking to a lot of affiliates lately, and they've been struggling to set up subscriber roles. But actually, it's pretty much done for you by Twitch and Discord. If your Discord account is linked to your Twitch account and your Twitch account is an affiliate, all you have to do is take your Discord account, go to the server, go to integrations in the server settings, and add Twitch. I have a whole video on it though that covers a lot of really important steps, so check that out in the descriptions and in the playlist. So with that, you should have your Discord server for your streaming community all set up and ready to start populating with your huge community as they can play games together and do whatever they want to celebrate your stream. With that out of the way though, I do have to throw it out there. If this helps, subscribing means a lot to us. Check us out on Twitter. We're trying to grow over there as well. And I'll see you guys next week. All you have to do is take your Discord account, go to the server, go to integrations in the server settings, and add Twitch. I have a whole video on it though that covers a lot of really important steps, so check that out in the descriptions and in the playlist. So with that, you should have your Discord server for your streaming community all set up and ready to start populating with your huge community as they can play games together and do whatever they want to celebrate your stream. With that out of the way though, I do have to throw it out there. If this helps, subscribing means a lot to us. Check us out on Twitter. We're trying to grow over there as well. And I'll see you guys next week. Bye.
I would say it's like having another producer in the room that knows exactly what your song needs. This is Co-Producer, the fastest way to find samples that fit your track. It listens to your track and pulls in samples that fit the rhythm, harmony, and key automatically. No more scrolling and no more random loops that don't match the vibe. You can ask it to find specific sounds or let it listen to your track and suggest something that could be cool. Plus, you get unlimited access to every sound, so no credits, no pay per download, just drag and drop. Simple. You can audition everything inside your DAW, stay in flow, stay creating. And the sounds made by actual musicians. Analog processed, crazy good. If your sample workflow feels stuck, this is gonna be the fix. Try Co-Producer free and let your track pick the sounds.
Wireless, you can clear your desk setup and just plug the USB-C receiver into your computer. And even cooler than that is you can just plug the receiver into your iPhone or Android. PD200W hybrid podcasting microphone. And not only does it sound good, it does it wirelessly. So now you're free to pod anywhere, anytime. Like, you can pod at the desk, pod on the couch, even pod outside. Because check it out. This thing has noise cancelling. Right now, the noise cancelling's at 0, so you can probably hear the fan and some of the chainsaws going on behind me. Well, let's crank it up a little. And now we're on max noise cancelling. Even with the fan and chainsawing going on, we're having a good pod. Hey, let's compare the mono quality to the Windows Phone's quality.
There's a lot to learn.
It's that time of the year again. This video will show you how to create a fully fleshed out Discord server from scratch with bot functionality, a professional aesthetic, and much more in roughly 30 minutes. I'm not going to take up much time in this intro, but I do want to mention one thing before we get started. If you're the type of person that one, doesn't have the time to do this yourself, or two, would rather just hire an expert to create everything for you completely hands off, then you are in the right place. For the last few years, I've actually been freelancing over on Fiverr and have created well over 1,000 Discord servers with nothing but glowing 5-star reviews from all of the clients I've worked with. This year, I'm 100% still offering this service, but I'm actually pivoting away from Fiverr into my own private freelancing Discord server. You can join from the link that's on screen right now, or you can also find that link and easily click it at the top of the description or in the pinned comment below. Regardless of what niche or industry you're in, I'm confident that I can create the best Discord server for you and your community. So join my freelance server via the link on screen or in the description or pinned comment, create a ticket via my ticket system, and we can get right to to work. I also have a free Discord help channel inside my community server, discord.gg/gesture. So if you have simple questions and don't need me to build your entire server, definitely feel free to join up and ask there. Lastly, a huge shout out to our friends over at iTranslator for sponsoring this video. More on them in just a little bit. Without further ado, this is my 2025 tutorial for how to create a Discord server. Okay, so the first thing we're going to do is create our Discord server. If you are brand new to Discord, the button should be towards the top up here if you're not in a ton of servers like I am. If you are in a lot of servers, you're going to just find this plus button that says add a server somewhere on the left sidebar. We're going to click that button and then it's going to ask us if we want to create our own or start from a little bit of a template. We're going to just completely start from scratch so I can show you guys what it's like to fully build it up from absolutely nothing. So we're going to click create our own, and we can do for club and community because this is going to be a community server focused around being a content creator, since that's what I am. And then we're going to click that, and then we are going to be able to name the server as well as give it a server logo. So I have named it Gesture 2025 Tutorial. I threw on a logo, and we are going to create the Discord server. Once you do that, you will be brought into your brand new server. So let's talk a little bit about what we see here. On the left side, this is going to be where our channel layout is. This is where all of our channels and categories are going to go. The middle of the screen is obviously the channel that you are in, and then the right side is going to be your member list. So once you start adding more members and bots, you will start to see many other members under the right side member list over here. So firstly, let's start small, and then we're going to start scaling up. The first thing we're going to start with is we're going to set up some categories, and then we're going to set up some channels. Help channel inside my community server, discord.gg/gesture. So if you have simple questions and don't need me to build your entire server, definitely feel free to join up and ask there. Lastly, a huge shout out to our friends over at iTranslator for sponsoring this video. More on them in just a little bit. Without further ado, this is my 2025 tutorial for how to create a Discord server. Okay, so the first thing we're going to do is create our Discord server. If you are brand new to Discord, the button should be towards the top up here if you're not in a ton of servers like I am. If you are in a lot of servers, you're going to just find this plus button that says add a server somewhere on the left sidebar. We're going to click that button, and then it's going to ask us if we want to create our own or start from a little bit of a template. We're going to just completely start from scratch so I can show you guys what it's like to fully build it up from absolutely nothing. So we're going to click create our own, and we can do for club and community because this is going to be a community server focused around being a content creator, since that's what I am. And then we're going to click that, and then we are going to be able to name the server as well as give it a server logo. So I have named it Gesture 2025 Tutorial. I threw on a logo, and we are going to create the Discord server. Once you do that, you will be brought into your brand new server. So let's talk a little bit about what we see here. On the left side, this is going to be where our channel layout is. This is where all of our channels and categories are going to go. The middle of the screen is obviously the channel that you are in, and then the right side is going to be your member list. So once you start adding more members and bots, you will start to see many other members under the right side member list over here. So firstly, let's start small, and then we're going to start scaling up. The first thing we're going to start with is we're going to set up some categories, and then we're going to set up some channels. Think of categories as a folder for all of your channels to go in. So this text channels right here, this is our folder for all of our channels to go in. So we're going to create a few different categories where we're going to have different channels based on that category's theme. So let's go ahead and start. To create a category, on the left side of your screen over here in any of the empty space, you're just going to right click and then click create category. The first category that we're going to create a welcome category. I always like to have something like this to set up a welcome channel to be able to greet your new members, a rules channel so you can show and display your rules of the server, an announcements channel, maybe some links, anything like that. So all we're going to do is type in the name of our category, welcome. We don't need to worry about this private category. We'll touch on that a little bit later. That's more for if you want to hide the category where only certain people can see it. We want everyone to see this category, so we're going to type in the name and we're going to click create category. So we're going to create a few other categories. The next one we're going to do is going to be a category for all of my social media content to go. So we're going to set this up as a read-only category where only I can message in it and other members can only view the content there. So I'm just going to name this category after myself, and then we're going to create the category. And then lastly, I'm going to create a mod and admin section. This is going to be a private section. We don't have any roles set up yet, so we can't really utilize this functionality yet, but I'm going to add one more category later after we get some roles set up, and I'm going to show you how you can utilize that. For now, we're just going to create a mod admin category and go ahead and create it, and we'll worry about the permissions in the next segment. So now we got a handful of categories set up. So let's go ahead and reorganize these first. We can drag and drop these anywhere. So I'm going to put the welcome category at the top. I'm going to put my social media content category next. Then I'm gonna have the text channels, then the voice channels, then the mod admin category. And say you wanna change up the names of these. If you wanna change text channels, I'm not a big fan of that. We can go ahead and right click where it says text channels, click edit category, and this will basically let us edit the name of the category and then also the permissions, which we're going to touch on shortly. So let's go ahead and rename this to community instead of text channels. This is going to be the community hub space where all of our main chatting channels are going to go. So we're going to press escape to get out of that. Now what we're going to do is we're going to start creating some channels to go inside these categories. So I'm going to show you how to create a few, and then I'm going to go through and go ahead and set up all of the channels that I want. You guys can pause the video, do the same for yourself, and then we can continue. So let's go ahead and start creating some channels. What we're going to do is we're going to come up to our category, and on the right side of it, you're going to see a plus sign that says create channel. All we're going to do is click that button, and then we're going to have two different options. So Discord has a text channel and a voice channel. Text channels is for people to send text messages, images, GIFs, any file attachments, stuff like that. Voice channels are for you to be able to use audio voice. You can even do things like a video call, and you can even screen share your computer screen. Right now, we're going to set up some text channels. So the first one we're going to do is a welcome channel. So we will just type in welcome and press create channel. And then we're also going to create a few more that I had already mentioned earlier. We're going to create a rules channel. So we're going to click that plus button again, type in rules for the channel name. It's going to be a text channel, and then we're going to create the channel. Next up, we're going to create another channel, and we're going to call it announcements. If I could spell right, it doesn't look like I can today, and I still can't spell right. Okay. There we go. So we've got an announcements channel. We're going to create that channel, and that's really as easy as it is to create channels. I'm going to go through, I'm going to set up a handful more. Feel free to pause the video, go ahead and set up some yourself, or you can wait until after I get it set up. Pause the video there, see the channels that I set up, and go ahead and set up the same ones for yourself, adjusted to you.
Imagine being able to build an app with your name on it, just by thinking about it. Meet Base 44, a complete AI creation platform. Describe what you want, and watch it take shape.
Your community. Okay, so now I have got all my channels set up. Feel free to pause the video right here if you kind of want to take a second to look at my layout and set yours up similar. But here's what we got. We got our welcome category with a few different channels, our gesture category with all of our social media stuff. I got a links channel, a channel for my videos, my live streams. Then I've got the community section, which is a handful of different community chatting channels. We've got the general chat, which is the main open chat. We've got memes, gaming, art, food, IRL, a couple different voice channels for people to hang out, and then our moderator and admin section, which we're going to set up the permissions for shortly. So now we got a really good channel layout going. What we're going to do next is jump into our server settings and create some roles. But before we do, I want to tell you about my partners over at iTranslator. iTranslator is a must-have Discord bot for communities that speak more than one language. The bot lets you translate all messages directly inside the server, so you never have to go off platform at all. This even includes their automatic translation feature, which essentially lets you automatically translate a message in one language inside a specific channel into another language inside another channel. iTranslator can even be used in direct messages with your friends, allowing you to better communicate privately in your direct messages with anyone that might not speak the same language as you. To top it all off, iTranslator recently just launched their brand new dashboard, allowing you to fully set up all of its functionality on a clean dashboard rather than having to do it via commands inside the server. iTranslator gives you access feature, which essentially lets you automatically translate a message in one language inside a specific channel into another language inside another channel. iTranslator can even be used in direct messages with your friends, allowing you to better communicate privately in your direct messages with anyone that might not speak the same language as you. To top it all off, iTranslator recently just launched their brand new dashboard, allowing you to fully set up all of its functionality on a clean dashboard rather than having to do it via commands inside the server. iTranslator gives you access to 30 different languages for the free version, and if you upgrade to premium, you get over 109 different languages available. If you want to add iTranslator to your Discord server today, you can find the link to do so at the top of the description. Thank you again to our partners over at iTranslator. Now let's get back into the video. So to get into our server settings, we're going to click the server name right up here at the top left. We're going to click server settings. That's going to take us into our main screen where we can access all of the settings of our server. Where we're going to be going is we're going to be navigating to the roles tab. So we're going to click on the roles tab, and we're not going to have any roles set up yet, but this is where we can start creating them. So all we're going to do is click create role, and we're going to be able to start naming our role and setting up any permissions, colors, all that good stuff. So what we're going to do first is we're going to create a basic member role. This role isn't going to really have any special permissions. It's just going to be a role that users get when they join the server, just to give them a little bit of color to their name. We can now give that role a color, so we can give it a preset color like they have here, or we can click this to actually create a custom color of whatever we want. So you can come up here, drag your cursor around and pick a color from here, or if you know the hex code of a specific color you want, then you can type in that hex code right here. For me, I'm gonna go with this light blue color here. We're gonna click out of that, and before we start creating more roles, something we're going is we're gonna be navigating to the roles tab. So we're gonna click on the roles tab, and we're not gonna have any roles set up yet, but this is where we can start creating them. So all we're gonna do is click create role, and today, you can find the link to do so at the top of the description. Thank you again to our partners over at iTranslator. Now let's get back into the video. So to get into our server settings, we're going to click the server name right up here at the top left. We're going to click server settings. That's going to take us into our main screen where we can access all of the settings of our server. Where we're going to be going is we're going to be navigating to the roles tab. So we're going to click on the roles tab, and we're not going to have any roles set up yet, but this is where we can start creating them. So all we're going to do is click create role, and we're going to be able to start naming our role and setting up any permissions, colors, all that good stuff. So what we're going to do first is we're going to create a basic member role. This role isn't going to really have any special permissions. It's just going to be a role that users get when they join the server, just to give them a little bit of color to their name. We can now give that role a color, so we can give it a preset color like they have here, or we can click this to actually create a custom color of whatever we want. So you can come up here, drag your cursor around and pick a color from here, or if you know the hex code of a specific color you want, then you can type in that hex code right here. For me, I'm going to go with this light blue color here. We're going to click out of that, and before we start creating more roles, something you want to turn on for all of your roles is this option to display role members separately from online members. So let me say my changes and show you what this actually does. If I'm to come out to my main server settings and I was to give myself the member role, you'll see that it now shows me in blue, and I have the actual member role, but it still shows me under the tab of online. So what turning on this setting does, if we go back into our server settings, if we turn on display role members separately and save our changes, what this actually does is instead of displaying us under online, it now displays us under the actual role that we have. So this is the way, once you start getting a lot of members in your server, it's a way to really categorically display the hierarchy of all your members. So like me, I'm at the top here, my admins are here, my moderators are here, my IRL friends are here, so on and so forth, and it just kind of organizes everything as far as the member list. So we got the member role set up. We're going to create a few more roles. The next one is going to be a moderator role. So we're going to go ahead and create a moderator role. We're going to give it a color, and then we're going to turn on this setting again. We're going to go ahead and create two more roles. One of them is going to be a bot role that we're going to give to all the bots that join our server. And then the next one is going to be an admin role. And we're going to have one more role that's going to just be the owner role that's going to display us at the top. So again, the way Discord works with permission or with the roles is it's going to display from highest to lowest. So you want to drag these in the correct order. Right now, this is a little bit backwards. So we're going to drag the member role to the bottom, drag the owner role to the top, drag the admin role underneath the owner role, and that's how we kind of want to display it. So now it's going to be our members, our bots, our moderators, our admins, and then the owner at the very top. Before we do anything else, you want to make sure you save your changes at the very bottom of your screen. And now we're going to jump into the actual permissions for these roles. So again, our member role, we don't have to worry about giving this role any permissions because it's just going to be a flare role. And now the @everyone, this is basically going to be the default permissions of everyone in the server. So a member is even though the member role doesn't actually have any permissions toggled on, they're going to automatically adopt all of the permissions for @everyone. So think of @everyone as just the default permissions of every single member in the server, regardless of what roles they have. So let's go ahead and start going through the basic permissions for our members. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to turn off create expressions. We don't want members to be able to add custom emojis, stickers, or sounds into our server. That's just not something you want them to be able to do. Now, some of you might want to change the ability to turn off the ability for users to change their nickname of the server. The nickname is just basically what their display name is. It's separate from their actual username. So if you don't want users to be able to change their name to whatever they want, you can turn that off here. I'm going to leave it on. We're going to scroll down a little bit more. create public threads and create private threads. That's something you're definitely going to want to likely turn off. Going down a little bit more, we're definitely going to turn off the ability for you members to mention at everyone, at here, in all roles. What this permission basically means is that it gives the user to use the @everyone tag, which is the ability to basically send a notification to every single member in the server. Obviously, you don't want all of your members to be able to have that permission because they would be able to just tag everyone in the server. So we're going to keep scrolling down here. Read message history is fine. Send voice messages, that's totally up to you. Create polls, that's something you might want to turn off as well. It's kind of personal preference again. Discord recently last year launched the ability to where you can actually create polls on their platform instead of having to use a third-party bot. So if you don't want members to create their own polls inside your server, you can turn that off here. I'm going to be fine with it, and then if people start to abuse it, then I'll just come back in here and turn it off. Next up, we've got our voice channel permissions. So we are going to let them connect to voice channels, speak in voice channels, use video, use the soundboard, use external sounds, use voice activity. All of this is fine. Set voice channel status. This is basically a custom status users can set in the voice channel to maybe describe what they're actually doing in that voice channel for people that might want to join. You could turn that off if you want. Some people could abuse it and put stuff like really harsh profanity or something in there. So if you don't want members to be able to do that, then you can turn that off here. Next up, we have app permissions, so the ability to use application commands. Applications are also known as bots. We're going to keep that on, use activities. We're going to keep that on, use external apps. We're going to leave that on as well. And we create events, we are definitely going to turn that off. We don't want our members to be able to create their own events inside the Discord server. So those are our permissions for our basic members. We're going to make sure we save our changes at the bottom. And now what we're going to do is we're going to jump into our last few roles and set up the permissions for those. So the bot role, the only thing I'm going to turn on for the bot role is I'm going to scroll to the very bottom and turn on this administrator permission. Now, firstly, let me explain the administrator permission and why I'm giving it to the bot role. So the administrator permission basically lets users do every single thing that you can as the server owner, except kick you from the server or delete the server. It's a very dangerous permission. We're also going to set this up on the admin role. So it's a very dangerous permission that you only want to enable and give that role to users that you absolutely trust, because they're going to have full control of your server. So since I'm only going to be adding those trusted bots, this basically just automatically gives them full permission and full control to the server. So I don't have to make sure that they have permissions inside every different channel and all that good stuff. So if you add this permission to your bot role, just make sure that you're only adding verified and trusted bots to your Discord server. You can know that a bot is a verified and trusted bot because they're going to have a check mark next to the app tag that says it's a verified app. So we got our permissions for the bot role, and that's also going to be the permissions for the admin role. So we can go ahead and click the admin role, toggle on the administrator permission for that as well. Again, make sure you only give the admin role to people that you absolutely trust if you're going to have this permission on. Lastly, we're going to jump into our moderator role. I see the moderator role as a little bit of a server upkeep role. So the only thing that I give the moderator role permission to do is really just deleting messages, kicking members, banning members, timing out members, just general upkeep of the server, and no ability to manage the channels, manage the server, manage roles, nothing like that. Now, of course, this is all personal preference, so if you want to give your moderators the permission to add new channels, add new roles, you're totally welcome to do that. This is just how I would set it up. So I'm going to enable the ability for the moderators to view the audit logs so they can see what's happening with certain members. We're going to scroll down. I'm going to give them the ability to manage nicknames, which will let them change the nicknames of other members. We're going to give them the ability to kick, ban, and timeout members. We're going to scroll down a little bit more. Right here underneath mention
Shit, 46 minutes now?
I'm Angela, co-founder and chief product officer at Little Spoon.
And I'm Ben, co-founder and CEO of Little Spoon.
I guess like you could call us high school sweethearts.
Some have called us that.
Yeah, some have called us that.
We were working in the food industry, saw that there was a proliferation of cold pressed juice, cold brew coffee. There were literally more than a dozen companies selling fresh dog food. And no offense,
Growing your stream is brutal. There are thousands of unspoken rules that nobody tells you. So today I sat down to write out 10 tips for new streamers starting out and ended up with over 70 that you can do right now to improve your content. From settings to free tools to how to use YouTube or TikTok, to spelling myths or misunderstandings, setting up your audio, fixing your webcam, how to network, practice skills, and generally just how to be a better creator. You name it. This is the master video for you, the person who actually cares and wants to improve, made by me, the person who's been a full-time creator for over 6 years. So grab your pen and paper, make a checklist as we go of everything you want to do from this video, and comment at the end your score out of 70. I will also warn you, I can be a bit blunt, and I will be giving a few tips that are controversial, especially tip 70, which is the most important and difficult to hear. Counter on the screen, timer on the screen, let's get into it. When you start your journey, you're going to have 0 viewers, and you just have to be okay with that. Just kidding, screw that. You don't have to. In fact, you can go live to an audience immediately if you put the time and energy into gathering one on more discoverable platforms first, such as YouTube and TikTok. In fact, I will cover how to do that in full around tip 30 for an entire segment, so stick around for that. That said, you can ignore that entirely if your goal isn't to grow. When you start streaming, you should be realistic with yourself about what your goals actually are. Are you doing it to grow an audience and earn an income, or are you just doing it as a fun side hobby? And it doesn't have to be black or white. You can want to do it as a fun side hobby and also want to grow an audience, but where you need to get realistic with yourself is that sometimes doing what helps you grow and doing what is fun doesn't line up perfectly. That's just how life is. Comment your goal below the video, or at the very least, write down your goal right now on that piece of paper that's in front of you. And I will say, if you can't do that small task, you're probably going to struggle to do anything at all. Ever. Now, I want to show you the best way to avoid giving up, because this stuff is hard and there is an awful trap that makes so many new creators quit within weeks of starting because they just feel like crap. But first, let me show you this amazing microphone I'm using today and use in a lot of my videos, including viral gaming videos with 500,000 views, the Fifine K688. This is a description. Now, how do we avoid quitting before we even get a chance to start? Well, you have to avoid writing goals or setting goals that you have no control over, meaning you need to write SMART goals: specific, measurable, actionable, relatable, and time-bound goals. This means get hyper-specific about the goal. Make sure whatever it is you can measure, make sure it's a clear action by you to achieve it, make sure it's relatable to your overall goal, and set a deadline for it. For example, a terrible goal is to say you want to reach affiliate or partner or get 15 viewers or 50 followers, because you do not control those things. Everyone else does. You can't spend 6 hours of your time working away right now and know you'll be affiliate by the end of it. An amazing set of goals could be script 5 YouTube shorts this week. That's specific. We're scripting shorts. It's measurable. We're scripting 5 of them. It's actionable. You can sit down and script them right now. It's relatable because learning to use other platforms helps you grow as a creator and person. Finally, it's time bound, as in you're doing it this week. Comment your SMART goals below this video, or at the very least write down your SMART goals on the paper in front of you. And again, if you can't do that, you're probably going to struggle. Since the goal seems to be growth, you need to plan your content with an audience in mind. If you are streaming or uploading videos, let's say about Zelda, and the next day you start playing Fortnite or Battlefield 6, you're not thinking about your audience. You ever watch Kitchen Nightmares? You know, Gordon Ramsay yells at shitty restaurant owners? Yeah, that same way Gordon Ramsay goes into some shithole restaurant and yells at them for having 50 dishes on a menu with no focus and says that's why the kitchen is slow and shit. That's why you're struggling. An audience is a group of people who will gravitate to the same topics because they like those topics. The goal is to keep appealing to them to grow. And before you get mad at me because I'm saying not to play Battlefield 6 on stream and you really love Battlefield 6, well, tip 5, not everything in your life is meant to be content. Look, I know the world has tricked you into thinking you need to share every single thing online, but you're gonna hate yourself if you do that. Pick an audience, appeal to them, and keep the rest of the things you love for yourself. Don't turn everything you enjoy into something that is work. And that's also why you need a schedule. Your shithole restaurant might now only serve fish dishes. Awesome. But if people love your stinky fish on Wednesday nights, they're going to want it again next Wednesday night. But if you're not open or don't even have a schedule on the door, they're not going to bother. They'll go find a place they can rely on. Do you know how many streamers I don't watch anymore because I have no idea when they're going live? So pick at most 3 days, go live for 3 to 4 hours on those days, and use the rest of your time to live your life. Get fun stories you can tell on stream, learn to edit, script offline videos and vertical content, and when you say you're going to be live, then go be live. Speaking of being live, before you do, please go to your Twitch dashboard, go to settings, go to stream, click store broadcasts and publish broadcasts, and then a little below that is also clips. You probably want to turn these on as well. YouTube will let you set this up as well when you schedule a stream. Do you know how many streamers I don't watch anymore because I have no idea when they're going live? So pick at most 3 days, go live for 3 to 4 hours on those days, and use the rest of your time to live your life. Get fun stories you can tell on stream, learn to edit, script offline videos and vertical content, and when you say you're going to be live, then go be live. Speaking of being live, before you do, please go to your Twitch dashboard, go to settings, go to
Channel point prediction, streaming on Twitch, and 2K. Back to Twitch.
It was literally great. Like I would just all self-harm, the frames, weapons, etc. Yeah. At a certain point, I'm
Stream. Here we are. Alright, what to do, what to do.
the stream, click store broadcasts and publish broadcasts, and then a little below that is also clips. You probably want to turn these on as well. YouTube will let you set this up as well when you schedule.
Disconnect protection. Turn that on. Copyrighted audio warning. Notified. Store past broadcast. Yep. Always publish files. Excluded category. Auto clips waitlist. Top along request to join alpha testing of auto clips and AI supported tool. Moments from your stream. Clips with captions, including moments from your stream, saving the time on the clip. You accepted testing for your channel and the tool will auto create. I bet I won't be accepted. Enable clips. Exclude. When enable followers must follow you for a specific amount of time before it allows to make clips of your channel. Off. Okay. only allow subscribers to make clips of your channel. Oh. Which clips should be discoverable on Twitch? All clips. Let viewers upload clips to their socials. Sure, whatever. Customize which emojis are used to react to your clips and stories. Don't really care. Features, clips, setting the default. Featured clips permission. Streamers and editors can feature clips by default. Enable other channel hosts to feature clips of your channel. Users will be notified when they receive permissions. Channels you manage as an editor, people who can stream your channel, invite someone, yada yada yada. Already channels that follow. Okay. Back to it.
Schedule a stream, and for the rest of these settings, I will mention if YouTube has an equivalent or not. Doing this is incredibly important for a lot of different reasons, but mainly I think the most important reason why you should be saving your VODs is so that you can use the 15-5-5-5-15 rule afterwards. What is that? Well, it's tip number 8, dummy. Go to your latest stream and watch the first 15 minutes. Hey! Close that. I saw that. I said watch the first 15 minutes. I didn't say put the first 15 minutes on, then open up a game or a different video or pick up your phone. Watch the fucking VOD for 15 minutes. And if it's so boring that you can't watch it, congratulations, you need to fix your content. So get a pen and paper, and while you watch those 15 minutes, make notes of what to improve. Once the 15 minutes is up, randomly skip ahead and watch for 5 minutes. That is simulating a new viewer clicking your stream. You're forced to watch for 5 minutes, but they can leave. So, what can you improve? Write it down. Repeat this 5-minute section 2 more times, and then skip to the last 15 minutes and watch that as well. Once you're done, look down at your paper, and you should have an entire page of improvements you want to make. This is called active reflection, and it's how you actually improve rather than pretending you watched your VOD back while actually just gaming on the side. While we're in our settings though, specifically the dashboard, settings, and stream, make sure you turn on disconnect protection. This keeps the stream live for 90 seconds if you disconnect randomly, and it'll show a little waiting screen, giving you time to reconnect without having to start an entire new stream, and it won't kick all your viewers out of the stream, ruining your average viewership. YouTube has a small version of this built in as well. Below that, if you want faster back and forth with chat, turn on low latency. If not, leave it as normal. Often chat engagement when you're small is a big aspect of growing, so keeping this delay low can help a lot, and YouTube also has versions of this on their stream dashboard as well. If you scroll further, you can see this let viewers upload clips button. If you want your viewers to be able to create fan channels easily for you by sharing vertical or horizontal clips of your content to their channels with your Twitch name attached to it, leave this on. If you don't want them to do that, turn this off, and just be okay with the fact that there are external tools where they can rip all of your stuff, download it, and share it anyway. And below that, we have raid settings. Essentially, you can set permissions on who can raid you. This is great for dealing with hate raids or spam raids. You can set requirements like the raid requires at least 1 viewer, and it needs to be from an account that is over 30 days old, or whatever else you want. I don't recommend making this incredibly strict because raids are fun most of the time, and yes, YouTube does have a version of raids, it's just not as good, but you can turn that on if you want. Speaking of protection, I want to smash out a few pieces of advice for protection because a safe and fun stream is good for growth. Specifically, let's go settings, go to dashboard, settings, moderation. This is where you set up auto moderation on Twitch. It is amazing. It is the gold standard of moderation. I don't care what Twitch streamers say, they don't understand how good they have it. At the top, we have chatter permissions. This decides who can chat in your chat. Opening advanced, you'll see I let everyone chat as long as they have a verified email of over 2 weeks attached to their account. I've at times had the mobile verification on as well, and I will say, don't listen to people who say this kills chat activity. It was all fine for me. Granted, my audience tends to be adults who have phones and phone verification turned on anyway. If you're making content for children, well then maybe you're going to struggle a little bit more, but also you're making content for children, so you're going to struggle in general because that sounds like hell. What does kill chat activity though is using follower or sub only chat, which is below this. Turn it off, don't use it, and before you comment, if you're struggling with bots or spam, then just change your chatter permissions we just talked about. And also click this button below that to turn off links from chatters. Next, you're going to want to set up auto mod and message filters, because that sounds like hell. What does does kill chat activity, though, is using follower or sub only chat. Speaking of protection, I want to smash out a few pieces of advice for protection because a safe and fun stream is good for growth. Specifically, let's go settings, go to dashboard, settings.
Moderation. All right. Happy I could motherfucking read. Oh, don't see it. Okay, there we go. Moderation. Oh shit. Moderation. Chatter permission. I think this is what he was talking about.
Moderation. This is where you set up auto moderation on Twitch. It is amazing. It is the gold standard of moderation. I don't care what Twitch streamers say, they don't understand how good they have it. At the top, we have chatter permissions. This decides who can chat in your chat. Opening advanced, you'll see I let everyone chat as long as they have a verified.
I let everyone chat. Alright, some chatters without a verified email must have accounts older than 2 weeks. Phone verification is off. All chatters must have a verified phone number. Let me see.
Email of over 2 weeks attached to their account. I've at times had the mobile verification on as well, and I will say, don't listen to people who say this kills chat activity. It was all fine for me. Granted, my audience tends to be adults who have phones and phone verification turned on anyway. If you're making content for children, well then maybe you're going to struggle a little bit more, but also you're making content for children, so you're going to struggle in general because that sounds like hell. What does kill chat activity, though, is using follower or sub only chat, which is below this. Turn it off, don't use it, and before you comment, if you're struggling with bots or
Follower accept only chat. Off follower non-mod chat delay. Chat rules. Follower email verification is let's see what he said. Let's see.
spam, then just change your chatter permissions we just talked about. And also click this button below that to turn off links from chatters. Next, you're going to want to set up auto mod and
Block hyperlinks. Turn on. Pretty good information. This shit is a lot, yo. It's like it's a lot.
message filters. Exiting advanced, we also have auto mod and message filtering. I set this to be quite light, as you can see, and increase it as you need. Below that is the channel protection section. I again have this set so that to follow the channel, you need to have a verified email of over 2 weeks. Again, this just helps stop spam raids or from chatters. Next, you're going to want to set up auto mod and message filters. Exiting advanced, we also
Bullying. Okay. This is important.
have auto mod and message filtering. I set this to be quite light.
Let's filter in no. Let's filter in. Let's filter in. No filter in. No filter in. No filter in. Let's filter in. Sexuality, sex, gender. Less, no less. text-based terms.
As you can see, and increase it
No.
as you need. Below that is the channel protection section. I again have this set so that to follow the
Users 2 weeks.
channel, you need to have a verified email of over 2 weeks. Again, this just
Monitoring. Stop ban users from viewing your screen.
help stop spam raids or hate raids, and phone verification below that, which is off right now as well. Harmful chatter detection essentially lets Twitch help you catch potential chatters who could be harassers or even ban chatters on new accounts trying to get around said ban. I set these to monitor only so Twitch warns me and my mods to keep an eye on those chatters. While we're here, also turn on this little tool that stops banned users from viewing your stream. I had a guy who I banned who would hate what
Okay. You actually got to turn this shit on. When you ban somebody, they can still watch your stream. Crazy. Urban request. Unban request. Damn.
watch every single stream constantly and then send me lovely messages across all my other socials about how I should off myself or all sorts of other kind messages. This just stops weirdos from being able to watch you. Sadly, you can't do that here on YouTube, or else you watching this probably would be able to see me, you little freak. While we're talking about protection, I've got a few final tips before we move on to making your stream more engaging and fun for viewers. Even though personally I think protecting chat from people who ruin the vibe really is the most important way to make your stream engaging and fun for viewers, I just think you guys don't appreciate that. Next up, let's get a little controversial. Don't give mod or VIP status out to randoms or chatters you barely know, or even hardcore regulars. You guys are too willy-nilly with moderation and VIP status. Take it from someone who has made the mistake and learned from it. One bad mod or bad VIP can ruin the entire chat vibe. Only give these to trusted people who don't even ask for it. Seriously, if someone ever asks for mod or VIP, write that name down and never give it to them, because they don't want to help or they don't want to be a part of a community. They want status that puts them above the community. Keeping it moving, for the love of God, stop doxing yourself, stop giving out your full name, your email, your birthday, name of your dog, your cat, your mum, or anything else. Seriously, the internet is forever and there's a lot of weirdos on the internet. I'm looking at one right now, hey? The irony that I'm looking at my reflection. But when you decide to start making content, then that means it's time to make entirely new social media on a new set of email addresses that cannot be traced back to you and your personal life. Protect yourself, protect your family, protect your friends, and if you don't care about any of these people, at the very least, maybe just you care about protecting the growth of your content. Kind of selfish, but sure. Moving on, get BTTV. It's an extension for your browser, and if you have it, you'll suddenly understand why everyone keeps writing KEKW or other weird crap in chat. Those are emotes. Millions of emotes are being used daily by millions of chatters, and you can't see them because you don't have the extension that apparently every Twitch user needs to have. Next, write better titles. I'm sorry, if you're competing against other streamers and you want to get clicks, then lazily making your title the word Battlefield 6 or some other basic crap is not going to work. Write a funny title, write an opinion that'll get people clicking, like Battle... Kind of selfish, but sure. Moving on, get BTTV. It's an extension for your browser, and if you...
You gonna tell us how to get the shit? Get BTTV. Me. Alright. BetterTTV.com. Install for call. That's it.
Have it, you'll suddenly understand why everyone keeps writing KEKW or other weird crap in chat. Those are emotes. Millions of emotes are being used daily by millions of chatters, and you can't see them because you don't have the extension that apparently every Twitch user needs to have. Next, write better titles. I'm sorry, if you're competing against other streamers and you want to get clicks, then lazily making your title the word Battlefield 6 or some other basic crap is not going to work. Write a funny title, write an opinion that'll get people clicking, like Battlefield 6 is better than every COD ever. It may be wrong, but trust me, people will click it to debate you. Write something that gets a click, and if you can't think of something, then likely you haven't put enough thought into your content. Because when you go live, you're not just playing games, you're making content. That means you should plan ideas, come up with concepts or challenges to overcome. A stream idea should be good enough that a viewer can understand the goal from the title. They'll then join and understand exactly where you are in reaching that goal, but also be engaged enough that they want to be there at the end when you reach the goal. Which leads us to tip 23, episodic content. It just doesn't work online anymore. Content needs to be drop-inable, which I know that's not a real word. Don't comment how it's not a real word like last time. Whether it's a stream or a video, it doesn't matter. If you create something that requires a viewer to have knowledge they might not have in order to click and enjoy it, such as maybe they needed to have been in an earlier stream or watched an earlier video in the series, well, if you do that, that new piece of content will likely fail. We have evidence that when you make episodic content, you lose 50% of your viewership on episode 2, and by episode 10, you're down to 20% of the original viewership. This is why creators like Ludwig or Conordog play giant games in one sitting, like Final Fantasy or Elden Ring. Not because they want to torture themselves, but because if they streamed it every day for 2 or 3 weeks, by the end, they would have no one watching them anymore, because they had so much previous content that people had to absorb in order to enjoy where they were up to. It's also why these creators now upload one large edit that any viewer can click, watch, and enjoy without having to do homework and watch thousands of other pieces of content first. Next up, make a playlist or folder of engaging music, either for the background of your stream or just for editing. For streaming, I love Chill Hop, Game Chops, NCS, or artists like Baby No Money and Good Kid who have given full rights to use their music. You'll find you have a lot less dead air on stream if you both have good music to keep you going, but also to fill the pauses in general. And before you bring it up, no, you can't use whatever copyright music you want, and no, VOD removal isn't a genius workaround. You can still get banned, you are still using copyright material, and honestly, hard truth time for you. If your stream is so shit you need to use copyright music just to make it watchable, then damn, I'm sorry dude. That's rough, buddy. Speaking of rough, don't do giveaways. Well, okay, I've done giveaways. You can do giveaways, but don't ask for followers or subs in exchange for giveaways. Mostly because in some countries that's actually illegal, but also if you get 2,000 new followers or new YouTube subs thanks to offering a giveaway, congratulations, that's 2,000 people who will never watch your content ever again, and that tells YouTube you make shit content. But if you do want to do a giveaway, then you should do a giveaway that encourages people to watch the video in full and then comment something down below. That tells YouTube the video retention is high and engaging, which boosts it in the algo. At least that's what I do. I tell people, hey, if you want to enter this giveaway, watch to the end to find out how. And it works really well. Maybe a hot take that'll get me in trouble on stream or Twitter, but I don't think you should make a Discord. Everyone will say to make one immediately or very soon after creating a stream account, and they're not wrong really, but the time investment to keep it active and make it worth it is where the snag happens. I would say at your size, there's probably no point right now. And as you grow, really it becomes a discussion around your time to manage the community versus time to create. When you add a Discord into the mix, one of two things will happen. You spend a lot of time encouraging and engaging every new member to keep it active, losing time that you can or should be spending on YouTube and TikTok content. Or number two, you don't spend time encouraging and engaging with every new member, so the server stays dead quiet, because the reality is, unless there are already a base of 15 to 20 people actively chatting each day, likely new members will never look at it again. Your best bet is to focus on learning to create content, learning to appeal to the same audience on TikTok and YouTube over and over. And when you have grown from doing that, promote your new community server. The flood of a group coming in all at once makes it easier to keep the server alive. Next up, this is a weird one, but can we stop copying big streamers? So often small creators just completely rip off big creators thinking it will help them grow, but in reality, you're just being lazy and inauthentic, which viewers can smell from miles away. Seriously, one of the biggest reasons people struggle to grow is they have no opinions or thoughts of their own. They have nothing to share, and that's just incredibly inauthentic. At best, you just never grow or gain anything, you just look a bit dumb. At worst, you end up like that guy who spent 3 years streaming dressed like Dr. Disrespect and acting like a Temu version of him, only to find out that you're impersonating a guy who cheats on his wife and hits on kids in their DMs. Maybe just be yourself. In fact, let's go even further. Let's just stop watching big streamers all the time. Go watch smaller creators. Pay attention to what they do that you like and dislike, what they do well, what they don't do well, what you think you could learn from them. Because you're gonna learn a whole lot more doing that than going and watching someone do whatever they want while thousands of people spam hype emotes desperate for a shred of attention from that big creator. And before we move on to budget gear, external socials for growth, fixing your audio, webcam, learning to master new skills, and even networking, the last two tips of this segment are just ignore all those tips so far and start. Jump in, get your feet wet, realize it's not scary, and then slowly work through everything you need to do, and don't feel overwhelmed because there's no rush to finish all of this. Creating content is a marathon, not a sprint. So you can do it slowly at your own pace. And on the topic of ignoring people, please, for the love of God, ignore streamer Reddit and ignore streamer Twitter. You gain nothing from engaging with those idiots, but you will lose brain cells and be tricked into focusing on shit that doesn't matter from some wannabe streamer laughing as a journalist on Twitter. Right now, we're talking about how lurkers no longer count towards your view count, which is actually perfectly on schedule because we argued about that 6 months ago and a year ago, and it does tend to come up every 6 months, which is exciting because I can't wait for when we debate starting soon screens in a few weeks.
You're gonna be really blown away by this. Just gonna press this and see what it gives us.
I like this guy. He's real entertaining. Yeah.
It's amazing to... Alright, let's talk about budget gear, everything you'd need outside of a PC. Quickly, when I say budget, my definition is less expensive than other products while being just as good, if not better. First up, microphone. I mean, I don't need to say it, it's the best place to start. It will last you an insanely long time. I just keep using it. But I will say the Throne Mags, link it below. Next up, lighting. I've covered lights a lot on this channel, probably for a higher cut. And before we move on to using external socials to grow and be discovered, we need to wrap on the market. Next up, stop spending money on expensive crap you don't need! I'm sorry, that was a little too intense. Let me try again. Stop spending money on expensive crap you don't need. Most of those brands you're getting recommended every day by big influencers, they aren't genuine recommendations. Influencers recommend expensive products to you because if you buy it, they earn more than if you buy a budget product. That's why they're recommending you a $300 mic. Not because it's good, but because they get a higher cut. And before we move on to using external socials to grow and be discovered, we need to wrap this gear segment up by saying, stop spending money because you're too lazy to learn how things work. I would say once a week. In fact, no, I take that back. I would say twice a week, I meet a small creator with 0 viewers who has bought an entire second PC and is trying but failing to set up dual PC streaming and recording because their OBS or game is lagging. And when I ask them what kind of lag or what their stats panel says, they don't know. They don't even know where the stats panel in OBS is. And the reason is because they've never tried to troubleshoot or figure out if the settings they had were right or what the type of lag was or how they had to fix it. They just leapt straight to spending money. Why? This happens with audio as well. You don't need a Shure SM7B or a fancy mixer. If you can't sound good on an inexpensive USB setup, you are going to sound worse on an expensive SM7B setup. Okay, let's talk about discovery platforms. I'm I'm so excited for this one. This is like my jam. I love this shit. Remember at the start when I said to make sure you knew your audience and kept them in mind? When it comes to YouTube and TikTok, that is the most important part. You're not playing just one game or covering just one topic. You're appealing to the same audience, and to find them, it requires time and care. But the actual tip here that I need you to listen to really carefully is once you have an audience in mind, you want to appeal to them and then never use the word algorithm ever again. The algorithm is not a mystery. It can be explained in a single sentence. Are you ready? Listen very carefully. The algorithm is how the audience reacts to a video. If YouTube shows your video on the homepage, which if you're a small creator, it will, because it's aggressively pushing small creators right now, and people click your video because of the title and thumbnail and then watch a large or above average amount of it, then that is a positive audience reaction, and YouTube will try to show the video more. However, if YouTube shows it and people don't click it, or if they do click it and then leave immediately, that's a bad audience reaction, so YouTube will stop sharing it. Don't ask why the algo is hurting you. Ask why or how you aren't appealing to the audience properly. Now, when it comes to getting clicks, it is almost entirely down to two things. The first is very obvious, giving the potential viewers a reason to click or value, but the second is more difficult to understand, and that's TAM, T-A-M, or total audience metric. This means creating content that is understandable and appealing to the largest possible audience without becoming vague or losing focus. I like to imagine I take my title and thumbnail down to the old lady at the local fish and chip shop, and if she could understand my video's premise, I've done a good job. The best way to understand this is with a test. So we're going to look at 3 titles, and they're going to be about microphone reviews as an example. Title A, Throat Guzzler 3000B XLR Vibration Review. Title B, Throat Guzzler 3000B gives perfect vocals on a budget. Title C, this microphone has perfect quality audio on a budget. Which do you think is best? I'll give you a second. Okay, that's a second. If you said A, congratulations, that's the worst possible answer. That video title only appeals to people who know what the Throat Guzzler 3000B is, and even worse, specifically want to know about the XLR version of it and are seeking a review. That is a tiny portion of your total audience metric. If you said B, you're better off, but still shit. This one gives value to the viewer, making them more likely to click by saying it gives perfect vocals on a budget. Awesome. But it still uses the name of the mic in the title, which means people need to know what that is. And I do feel like using the word vocals will lower TAM by being hyper-specific about how viewers have to use it. Title C, we are getting much closer to what we are looking for. Our value is perfect quality audio on a budget, aka it's amazing audio and it's inexpensive. But we also open the title by saying this microphone, so people know it's a microphone video, but they don't need to know which microphone. And in fact, it's actually better that they don't know what type of microphone it is immediately, because now they're intrigued and they have to click to find out. Check out creators like Scamboli, who use this concept and rule to make their anime video essays absolutely explode in views. And you'll see it consistently happening across every single niche. In the same vein, TAM absolutely and heavily applies to thumbnails. You'll see Scamboli doesn't use his face anywhere, and lots of creators blowing up now refuse to use their face in thumbnails because nobody knows who they are. You guys, new creators, will copy Mr. Beast or Ludwig and throw your face into your thumbnail, but you don't realize you hold no value to a new viewer. TAM is mostly for titles and thumbnails in long form, but it also heavily applies to short format. Let's say you're swiping through your shorts and the intro 3 seconds are hyper-specific and aren't understandable or relatable to you. Well, you're gonna keep swiping. So you need your intro, your first 3 to 5 seconds, to be relatable and have context for the largest TAM, so they don't just swipe away. I love Shrimpy's art shorts as an example when I try and help people learn about an opening hook. He opens almost all of his shorts by saying, "Are you one of those people who?" And that is amazing at getting a viewer to stick around. It is aimed directly to them and is usually followed by a relatable struggle, like learning how to draw hands, for example. "Oh my god, I am one of those people who struggles to draw hands. He's talking to me."
If you get stuck on the melody, or if you just feel like you can't get a song started, Output's co-producer is very dope. They make it much easier for us to either get inspiration or to help.
Alright, it's time to get controversial again. If you're using stream footage and stream clips for your YouTube shorts or TikToks, you're an idiot. No, I'm just kidding. You've been lied to, which is a little bit worse, to be honest. A bit back, myself, Reap, Sharky, and a lot of other creators worked together to essentially learn how to use short format on YouTube. And what we found was that stream clips being converted to vertical 99 out of 100 times will fail to even break the testing phase of 5,000 views. Which, side note, if you didn't know, if your vertical video is getting under 5,000 views, it usually means YouTube tested it to a group of people and it didn't perform very well. So it stopped sharing it. In fact, the lower the number, so let's say you get 200 views and it completely stops, that means the audience had a pretty bad reaction to it. Twitch or stream clips almost always failed because there's no real format or structure to them that keep people sticking around. Yes, sometimes they do well, but it was never repeatable or controllable. And honestly, you do not want success if you cannot continue to capture that success consistently. However, when we started planning, recording, and editing vertical content that was specifically designed to have a hook, a goal, and a reason to keep watching, we started seeing huge numbers. Reeps, to this day, is still getting millions of views on his shorts by doing this. The advice of blanket converting Twitch clips to vertical is usually given by giant creators who succeeded by doing it and don't understand they are the exception, not the rule. Survivor bias is a very real thing, and these people don't realize that new creators cannot do exactly what they did and see success. That's also why so many of you are failing at long form. YouTube these days pushes small creators on the homepage aggressively, but because, as we said, you don't understand TAM, you don't get clicked. And if you do get clicked, the videos fail to keep viewers watching because you've got badly edited stream footage, montages, compilations, or reactions that viewers just don't care about. YouTube in 2025 can be best described as story. You're sending your viewers on a journey, either literally or metaphorically, setting out with a goal in mind, like becoming a better streamer, and then having to overcome obstacles to get there. But when the video finishes, they're going to leave having felt something and being changed. Look at Shawnee Dew or Floydson with their 100-day videos. These are massive, brutally difficult videos to make, but the story and journey are engaging, unique, and above all else, hugely valuable to a viewer. Keeping it controversial, stop interrupting viewers by wanting value from them rather than offering value so good they naturally support you. Asking for likes, asking for subs, all of that crap before even a single piece of value, before the video has barely even started, that's crazy. When you create, think like a viewer, because let's be real, you are one. And when you, as a viewer, saw creators spam you and take ages to give you what you clicked for, you got mad. So focus on story, offer people value, and subscribe. I'm enjoying the controversial stuff, so you know what? Stop using every single set of social media. Just pick one to focus on and get really good at it. If you spread yourself thin by streaming, making shorts, making videos, Insta posts, Twitter, all of it, blah, 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 then congratulations, you're gonna stay shit forever. Hell, I struggle to do shorts and videos on a single channel. You better believe having 2 channels where I make 2 different forms of long form content is hell on earth for me. And I'm a dad, so I have absolutely no time to myself. Stop spreading yourself thin and uploading garbage. Focus up, focus in, and become amazing at one format until you have the experience, resources, and audience to expand into other formats. Because getting just good, not even great, will take hundreds of uploads, thousands of hours of work, and that's okay. That's actually awesome. The feeling of investing yourself in becoming good at something is better than anything you've ever felt. Looking at the first video you uploaded versus a year later, oh my god, it's amazing. You'll love it. You just have to actually stick to it and try to improve. So before we move on to audio quality, webcam quality, how to master skills, and even how to network properly, I want to wrap up the external social section by saying I made 2 videos. One, showing how I monetized a new faceless gaming channel with 0 self-promotion or 0 telling my audience about it in just 6 uploads. That'll be linked in the description, alongside a video all about how I got millions of views on short format content without promoting it at all to any established audiences. All right, let's talk audio. I'll smash this out and link a more detailed video below, but first, for God's sake, learn to properly use your microphone. I'd say 90% of audio quality comes from placement, but you've got people placing their mics an arm's length away from them or aiming it away from their mouth entirely. Hell, I have a mate who kept complaining about his audio, and then when I finally cracked and asked where his mic was, he said it was behind his monitor. He was talking at nothing. The sound comes out of your mouth, guys. Put the microphone in front of your fucking mouth. Aim it at the mouth where the sound comes out of. Then max out those physical knobs that control sensitivity or gain on it, and then lower the Microsoft Windows mic sensitivity until the levels show you are loud but not peaking or over exploding, which is usually inside yellow near the top with headroom for laughter or yelling. Also, try to keep your mic away from your keyboard as well. Nobody wants to hear you slamming on those mechanical keys that you don't actually need or use properly. If you don't understand audio levels or mixing, that's totally fine. Here is a lovely graph for you. If your audio is hitting the top of the red, it's likely too loud. If it's in the middle to low end of green, it's likely going to be quite quiet. Your voice should land around -10 to -6. Your game audio should be around -20 to -15. The background music would be about -22 to 28. And then remember, all of these rules are just kind of like guidelines to get started. And the best way to actually check your audio is to set it all up, record something, take it into editing software, and then listen back. Stop! Let me finish. Listen. Do not trust your headphones or speakers or whatever else you're using. They will lie to you. Sound comes out of your mouth, guys. Put the microphone in front of your fucking mouth. Aim it at the mouth where the sound comes out of. Then max out those physical knobs that control sensitivity or gain on it, and then lower the Microsoft Windows mic sensitivity until the levels show you allowed, but not peaking or over exploding, which is usually inside yellow near the top with headroom for laughter or yelling. Also, try to keep your mic away from your keyboard as well. Nobody wants to hear you slamming on those mechanical keys that you don't actually need or use properly. If you don't understand audio levels or mixing, that's totally fine. Here is a lovely graph for you. If your audio is hitting the top of the red, it's likely too loud. If it's in the middle to low end of green, it's likely going to be quite quiet. Your voice should land around -10 to -6. Your game audio should be around -20 to -15. The background music would be about -22 to 28. And then remember, all of these rules are just kind of like guidelines to get started. And the best way to actually check your audio is to set it all up, record something, take it into editing software, and then listen back. Stop! Let me finish. Listen back to it while watching your audio levels. I saw you listening back with just headphones. Do not trust your headphones or speakers or whatever else you're using. They will lie to you. Only trust what the little level bar says, okay? And then next, once you've got everything set up, you need to learn about audio filters. Even a basic understanding will go miles. And thankfully, you're gonna get that right now. The first thing you have to learn is that audio filters actually apply in a chain, one leading into the next. If we're using OBS, for example, then filters are applied top to bottom, and placing them incorrectly, like certain stream education TikTok channels will do, make you sound shit. Once you placed your mic correctly and leveled it properly, you likely want a noise gate. Imagine audio is like water. When a little bit of water hits the noise gate,
Okay, here we go, here we go. Wait a minute. Settings, audio, general. Going to this bridge cast. Might clean up. Alright, let's hear this. Let's hear it, let's hear it, let's hear it.
it's not going to open. But when a lot hits it all at once, it opens before closing again when it feels the rush has died down. So smaller sounds like mouse clicks, background noise, things that are far away won't manage to open the gate. But your voice, leveled properly and placed properly, will open it. Now, reminder, once the gate's open, everything's coming through, which means if there is background noise, it'll come through when you speak. This isn't removing background noise from your audio, it's just not letting it activate your mic. When it comes to removing background noise entirely, there are 3 methods. First, fix the placement and sensitivity of your microphone. Get it closer to you, further from the noise, and lower the sensitivity slightly. Second, just remove the background noise entirely. Personally, when I record, I turn off my fans, my air conditioners, I wait for my wife and my daughter to be at work or daycare, which I couldn't do today, so you might be able to hear her outside the room. If you can't, hey, credit to Fifine. But the goal should be to create a quiet environment so that you can get clean recordings without filters. And if you can't do that, then sure, yes, okay, you can add noise suppression, but just add it very lightly. Do not go crazy, because voice suppression is not clever. It's not going to use some crazy and magical tool to cut out everything except your voice. It just cuts out certain frequencies and usually only works for white noise like fans and air conditioning. If you apply this too heavily, your voice is going to get cut out or scratchy or high-pitched and just sound gross and nasally like mine does on a normal day. That's also why you should never trust those influencers on Twitter that fucking blast a fan or hairdryer or some other crap right next to themselves, and then they turn on some magic branded noise suppression tool that they've been paid to promote. They turn it on and then speak really carefully and leveled like perfectly so like it doesn't break the audio. But in reality, if you use those things and then actually tried to record or stream, you would sound like ass. You don't naturally have a perfect voice when you record, and those tools will affect you as well.
This is how I'd learn AI in 2026 if I wanted a fresh start at 50. Watch this.
Never
and I mean never, learn AI until you.
Another amazing filter, the compressor. This brings your loudest sound down a bit and raises your quiet sounds back up with makeup gain. Essentially, it levels you out nicely, but like all filters, don't use this heavily. Just add a light compressor or you'll begin to sound flat and boring, again, like I do in my day-to-day. Finally, if you're using OBS, which you likely are if you're watching this, then you don't need all those external audio tools anymore. Seriously, Voice Meter, Sonar, Elgato's Wave, whatever, it had a place sort of for a while, but OBS has been updated so much, you don't need any of it anymore as well. Another amazing filter, the compressor. This brings your loudest sound down a bit and raises your quiet sounds back up with makeup gain.
Tac 6. No, just turn it up.
Essentially, it levels you out nicely, but like all filters, don't use this heavily. Just add a light compressor or you'll begin to sound flat and boring, again, like I do in my day-to-day. Finally, if you're using OBS, which you likely are if you're watching this, then you don't need all those external audio tools anymore. Seriously, Voice Meter, Sonar, Elgato's Wave, whatever, it had a place sort of for a while, but OBS has been updated so much, you don't need any of it anymore. Keep life simple, keep it easy, stop overcomplicating everything. Speaking of simple and easy, I'm going to break down webcams, or at least camera exposure, in just 3 tips that will change your life. Are you ready? I can't hear you. I don't know why you replied to me. I genuinely, I recorded this weeks ago. First, you need to understand exposure. This is how bright or dark your image is and how to balance it so that you or your subject is correctly exposed, using specifically the exposure triangle. All cameras or webcams have an f-stop. This refers to the aperture inside the lens that opens and closes to let light in. A lower f-stop means more light is let in and it's better for blur or depth of field, as you can see behind me. This is an f1.8, so I have depth of field and I have blur, and it's great. Next corner of the triangle, this is your digital brightness. You're digitally using this to raise or lower the sensitivity of your entire image, and because it's digital, you're going to create digital artifacting or noise degrading the image when you raise your brightness up with this. Final corner, shutter speed. Now, unless you're shooting action sports or filming long exposure footage, usually this will sit double your FPS. So 30 FPS, 60 shutter, 60 FPS, 120 shutter. The reason is because this gives the most natural look. Higher shutter speed means less light, and slower speeds means more light. Obviously, because if it's opening and shutting really fast, less light's getting in, whereas if it's opening and closing slower, more light can get in. This also affects your motion blur and how you move as well, because the higher shutter speed will capture more little bits of your motion. So, rough starting point in order to get the best image, you want the lowest ISO possible, the lowest f-stop possible, and as I said, shutter speed, double your FPS for that natural look. If you do these rules and you're too dark, then you need to increase the brightness of your key lighting, which are those newers I linked earlier. If you do the triangle and you're too bright, however, then you can remove light by lowering your key light's brightness or rate digital. You're going to create digital artifacting or noise degrading the image when you raise your brightness up with this. Final corner, shutter speed. Now, unless you're shooting action sports or filming long exposure footage, usually this will sit double your FPS. So 30 FPS, 60 shutter, 60 FPS, 120 shutter. The reason is because this gives the most natural look. Higher shutter speed means less light, and slower speeds means more light. Obviously, because if it's opening and shutting really fast, less light's getting in, whereas if it's opening and closing slower, more light can get in. This also affects your motion blur and how you move as well, because the higher shutter speed will capture more little bits of your motion. So, rough starting point in order to get the best image, you want the lowest ISO possible, the lowest f-stop possible, and as I said, shutter speed, double your FPS for that natural look. If you do these rules and you're too dark, then you need to increase the brightness of your key lighting, which are those newers I linked earlier. If you do the triangle and you're too bright, however, then you can remove light by lowering your key light's brightness or raise your f-stop slightly. Granted, that will also remove some of your depth of field. Once you've done all of this, you'll likely notice your skin tones might look a little bit weird. That's because one of the most common mistakes people make is not setting their white balance correctly. White balance is the number that refers to or tells your lights and camera what type of lighting you're in and what to read the colors of that lighting, because all light has color. For skin tones like mine, I personally set my lights to around 4700 Kelvin and then match that on my cameras as well. As you can see, my t-shirt looks quite white. When it comes to lighting yourself, try to keep most of the lights that are on you and your skin to the exact same color temperature, or else it'll start to look weird. And it also helps if you do this, because then you can use different colors, such as this orange light behind me that's 3200 Kelvin, and that'll help separate me from the background. Some people also actually shoot the light onto the shoulders and hair, which will give another set of separation. On the topic of background, if you have lights like the ones I have in the background,
Shit is crazy. Like it's really. Where are my lights? I like my Smurf blue though. Right light, 53. Left light, 53. Look at my camera. See to me, to me, to me, to me. Logitech. There we go. System preferences. Allow the applications below to access your camera. Fine, you have permission. More, my Smurf blue. No. No, 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 no. Hell to the fucking no. Random issues, complete list. Please provide camera and microphone support. So that's crazy. My camera has a microphone. No, no access. So how do I look up the settings? it? Did it do it? Did it do it? You. Opa. Damn, it's 6 o'clock already. I could use Bluetooth. App need access to Bluetooth. No. Okay. Why is it not showing anything? Zoom and enable pan and tilt control. So why is it not showing me anything? Here we go. Hell nah. Not even gonna do that. Not gonna do that. Zoom image adjustments. Auto exposure, auto focus, low light compensation. Difference. Nope. Brightness.
background and they're overexposed or blown out from your depth of field. Once you've done all of this, you'll likely notice your skin tones might look a little bit weird. That's because one of the most common mistakes people make is not setting their white balance correctly. White balance is the number that refers to or tells your lights and camera what type of lighting you're in and what to read the colors of that lighting, because all light has color. For skin tones like mine, I personally set my lights to around 4700 Kelvin and then match that on my cameras as well. As you can see, my t-shirt looks quite white. When it comes to lighting yourself, try to keep most of the lights that are on you and your skin to the exact same color temperature, or else it'll start to look weird. And it also helps if you do this, because then you can use different colors, such as this orange light behind me that's 3200 Kelvin, and that'll help separate me from the background. Some people also actually shoot the light onto the shoulders and hair, which will give another set of separation. On the topic of background, if you have lights like the ones I have in the background and they're overexposed or blown out, they'll likely look a bit white. You can solve this by either dimming them with a controller they come with, or if they're not dimmable, then you can raise your key lighting that is on yourself to be brighter, and then try to lower the ISO overall, or if your ISO is as low as it goes, you increase your f-stop or increase your shutter speed. Essentially, the method you're doing is, if your background is overexposed, you want to bring your foreground, your subject, to also match that overexposure, and then you're going to cut the entire image's lighting and exposure down so that neither you nor your background are overexposed anymore. Alright, let's talk mastery, how to gain skills, how to learn, and how to improve. First up, Streaks. It's an app I use where I set a daily task such as don't drink soft drink, or go for a walk, or script a YouTube short, and every day I do that task, I tick it off. The goal, of course, being to build a streak over a long period of time. Why? Because most success in life comes from consistency, because consistency becomes discipline, which becomes habit, and when you have habit, you no longer need motivation. I got asked recently if there was an alternative app to Streaks for people, and when I set a literal calendar on the wall to write X's on, I got called an idiot. But that's what most people used before the app, and what a lot of us still use to this day. Next up, if you're trying to master something, don't just use SMART goals, but get even deeper into the practice. For example, let's say you want to learn the skills of becoming a video editor. If two people walk into a computer lab, but only have 60 minutes to practice video editing, and one person has the goal of being a better editor, while the other has the goal of learning how to level audio properly, who is going to learn more in those 60 minutes? Spoiler, it's the person who came in with a specific and measurable goal in mind. They narrowed it down to something they had to focus on. Now, in terms of learning, one of the best things you can do as a potential creator or streamer is learning to speak. And you might think, oh, I already know how to speak. Well, no, I'm talking about presenting or projecting so your voice doesn't sound boring or flat, or most importantly, so that you don't hate the sound of your own voice. What I'm about to tell you is advice that I have given to thousands of different people at this point, and I know only 4 or 5 people who have taken it on board. And those people who I know for sure took it on board are now full-time content creators who do this for a living. This is the 10-minute daily recording exercise. This is when you sit down by yourself, turn on your phone camera, and record for 10 minutes straight, trying to fill all the 10 minutes with you speaking. Do not open a game. Do not put music on. Don't do anything else to help you. Don't plan out what to talk about or add dot points. This is just you and the camera off the cuff with no planning. Then when you're done, stop recording and do not watch it back. Go about your day, go have dinner, do whatever you want to do, and then the next day open your phone and watch the 10 minutes in full. Focus on it without distraction and make notes about what you need to improve. Immediately as soon as you're done, hit record and do another 10 minutes. Repeat this process every single day, and within a few weeks, you'll see massive improvements. Within a few months, you'll be a different person, and within years, you'll never pause, hesitate, you won't say or ah, and of course, as I said, you won't cringe at the sound of your own voice anymore. I am about to be harsh, but if you can't find 10 to 20 minutes to practice arguably one of the most important skills a creator can have, that will also hugely benefit you in your day-to-day life, you probably won't make it. The 4 or 5 people who are massive creators now, they didn't blow up because they listened to this advice and became great speakers. They blew up because they listened to the advice, thought that could help them, and then put it into action. The effort they put in is where they differ from the people who listen to this and then won't go on and try it. That's why they succeeded. They heard something could help them, they did the thing. Which is tip 64, to be curious about becoming better, to be okay being uncomfortable and being okay with sucking. Discomfort usually means you have a chance to grow as a person, and that is fucking sick. I love being uncomfortable, as weird as that sounds to say out loud, because it means I usually have a chance to be better. Speaking of discomfort, let's talk about the ways that you guys network, because wow, does that make me cringe. Stop trying to grow from self-promotion and love posts. On Twitch, it's lazy and can be against terms of service, but on platforms with actual algorithms, listening to audience feedback, it will kill your channel. Earlier, we talked about giveaways creating inflated follows. Now imagine if YouTube tried to share a video to those followers and they chose not to click. That negative signal will destroy you. When you spam self-promo and get fake follows or fake subs, you're telling platforms that people hate your videos. Next up, don't try to make friends purely for the value they can offer you. The amount of people who I thought I was great friends with who just stopped replying to me the moment I wasn't a source of raids or collabs is real sad, man. Like, I'll message people still to this day and be like, hey, how you doing? And they'll just nothing. It's incredibly common with streaming and stream communities. It's less so on YouTube, actually. I find YouTubers are much more community focused with other YouTubers. So what do? Well, one of the best things you can do for networking is to slowly and naturally meet people. Find people you mesh with and create your circle. Find the people you trust who have the same work ethic as you, same morals as you, and try not to get dragged into drama or hate. I'm not saying avoid engaging in the wider community, but just try to be kind to those around you and keep your head down, focused on creating your content or your art. A great example of getting dragged into the drama, and I'm sorry, this story is a little bit long, but it's important. I went to a convention last year in 2024. I went to PAX Australia, where one of the most well-known names in my region, who is very well connected, and their entire brand is about kindness, positivity, and inclusivity, approached me at a Twitch partner-only event and began saying they hated me, that everyone in the region hates me, that I'm annoying, awful, and I shouldn't engage with the wider community anymore. Specifically, I shouldn't engage apparently in the Twitch partner Discord anymore. When I asked why, they didn't really have an answer, except for saying that it seemed like I was either autistic or had ADHD, which I was so taken aback. I didn't even realize how gross that was at first. To say that I'm essentially awful and that it's likely because I'm on the spectrum? Like, what? They did this in front of other partners as well, and I think they realized that at that point they were losing the room. So they then tried to get me to leave and go one-on-one with them to talk. Thankfully, the core, the people I trust, were around that night, so I was able to tell that person no, get out of that situation, and then I stuck close to the people who I could trust for the rest of the night. Shout out to Twitch staff as well for that entire weekend. They were a fantastic safe place for creators like myself. But sadly, not everyone is that fortunate. Sometimes people who are isolated have things like this happen and don't have a support network, which is why I'm trying to encourage you to find your support network early. Next tip is sort of still connected. I don't have any hate towards that person. Granted, it was such a bad experience that I cancelled my attendance to PAX this year, and I probably won't go to another convention anytime soon. But that point aside, I think in this day and age, sometimes we get so wrapped up in thinking we know the creators we see online. But in reality, the person who did that to me and I have never talked really. We've never interacted, maybe some surface level back and forths, but they don't know me. I don't know them. They don't know what I stand for, what I like, dislike. We don't know each other. So, tip 68, don't allow your commenters, communities, and other creators who only see you as a 2D character to determine your worth. And in reverse, don't assume you know everything about other creators you're looking at. We can never truly know other creators from just what we see online, and it's so important to have empathy because some people are really struggling out here, man, and you just don't assume you know them. Yeah? But how do you find your community? How do you combine all of this? Not self-promoting, improving yourself, finding like-minded people who value being better every day? Well, you do that over a long period of time. And it's actually the core reason I started the Stream Scheme Discord. Because when I started, I tried joining content creation or streamer service, and it was all shitty self-promo, scams, and drama. But now, our server not only has over 80,000 members all working hard to improve themselves, but also a dozen volunteers who range from tech experts to full-time content creators who are there to offer support and education. On the side, I have also created dozens of free animated overlays, stingers, effects, and more that you guys can use. Just don't go and upload them to your own Discord or YouTube channel and pretend they're yours. Why does this keep happening? But seriously, you're welcome there and you're welcome to get some advice. I'm there for at least 3 hours every day. And for the final tip, last time I gave this piece of advice, the video went viral, got 3 million views, and it really upset people. I told you guys at the end of a very big video that if you had tried for months to grow and you weren't seeing success, if you were at 0 viewers on Twitch, 0 viewers on your videos, if nothing was working, then to stop. And people got mad. They turned off the video immediately and they missed the entire end of the sentence, which was stop doing the same thing over and over expecting results, and instead step back, protect your mental health, be critical, be constructive, focus in and improve yourself so you can succeed. Just like let me finish speaking for 3 seconds before you angrily comment next time. Come on. But seriously, don't make excuses or dig your heels in and pretend like everyone else is the problem, because viewers don't care about the fact that we work a 9 to 5 or work 3 jobs like I did when I started, or have kids like I do now, or have a diagnosed anxiety condition that makes you hate putting yourself out there, so you wear a hat and a jean jacket in 34-degree weather. Anyway, I hope this video was helpful in some way. I will see you guys next week. Subscribe.
Baby food in the grocery store is literally older than the baby that's eating it.
Which was crazy to us. It's some of the most critical nutrition you can put in a child's body. The conversation really went from
Okay.
I completely restarted my streaming journey from scratch at the start of 2023. That's right, I went from having 150 average viewers to 0 viewers. But then, for my very first stream on a whole new account, new platform, and entire...
Alright. Damn, what I was about to do? Oh. Lord have mercy.
me down, but they won't, but they can't.
Looking back at the early days of my stream, it looked terrible.
Let's just create it easy to make it even simpler. Already has a bunch of presets. I can even add another layer.
Looking back at the early days of my stream, it looked
Okay. Who's still playing music? Okay. I know I wasn't tripping. Alright. You still looking up that stuff?
I mean, I already figured out CapCut, so.
Oh, did you try and do it?
Yeah, plus I've used it before in the past.
No, I'm talking about did you try and clip a video? Yeah, exactly.
This is standard. The raving guy cranking those codes like crazy. This is standard.
Looking back at the early days of my stream, it looked terrible. And because it looked terrible, it meant that I lacked confidence without breaking the bank. But before we get to that, and before I show you guys how to install and download these packs today, let's talk about Fiverr and the discount code they've got for you. If you don't know about Fiverr, they are an amazing resource for creating custom graphic service to make more free animated graphics for you guys. For free graphics or new streaming. In the description, so you can skip ahead to any part of this video you want. But first, let's show off these packs, and then we'll get into downloading them later. The first pack was made by a fantastic art. This pack comes with packs you've ever made. It's called amazing. Tokyo Nights was made by Perisik, who is an amazing team of designers that executed my brief professionally and incredibly fast without any issues. And they were incredibly excited to be involved in the project. Incredibly fast without any issues. And they were incredibly excited to get started as a beginner. I would heavily recommend reaching out to him. And if you're scared to reach out, don't worry, I'll also show you guys how to reach out to designers properly in a little bit in this. It looks amazing. If you're in the market for an incredibly professional ordering, make sure you read the deliverables, read the different price points, and make sure you reach out directly to them with a message. Or, of course, just go straight to the two designers who worked with us today that are linked in the description who made these ones because I trust them and I think they're brilliant. Okay, let's get into the download and installation of these overlays. First up, you're going to need to join our Discord with the link in the description. This is where we keep all of our overlay packs, including the ones today. Once you're in the Discord, you'll want to read the rules part of the Discord. If you agree to all of the rules, you will then click on this little verify button to see the rest of the Discord. From there, you'll scroll down to the channel named Free Stream Graphics. This has a link to every single overlay, every single free stinger, and of course today's packs. You're going to click the download link for the pack that you want. I will give you a quick warning. All of these packs are incredibly large files. They have a lot of assets and a lot of customization. And because both these overlay files are so large, Google Drive can't scan them to make sure they're safe. That said, I made them. The rest of our packs are there. We have over 30,000 downloads on the other packs, and no one has had any issues whatsoever. But again, if you don't trust it, don't download it. That's totally fine. These will download as a zip file, which means you need to extract them before doing any other work. Windows does come with a built-in extracting tool. You'll right-click on the downloaded zip file and click Extract here. If these options don't show up when you right-click it, there is also a guide linked on how to extract a file in a Discord named hashtag how to install overlays channel, which also has every other question you'll probably have if you get lost. Give it a second to extract, but once it is extracted, you'll want to make sure that OBS or Streamlabs, whichever you're using, is entirely closed. You do not want them open for this next section. You'll open the folder for your pack, and you'll find the folder named Fonts inside. You'll then double-click and install the fonts to your PC. If you do this after you've installed the overlay, if you skip ahead, install the overlay, and then try come back to install the fonts, or if you try and install the fonts while OBS or Streamlabs is open, you will break the installation process and have to start from scratch. And again, if you get lost, there is a guide on how to install fonts to your computer linked in the How to Install channel. Let's start with installing these into Streamlabs, and then I'll show you guys how to install it into OBS. Now, some of the words I say might be different to how they appear inside the software. Software is constantly being updated, so make sure you pay attention to the visuals on screen and what I do. Streamlabs users actually have it very easy. All you have to do is open Streamlabs now that you've got the fonts installed, go to your settings, click Scene Collection, and click...
Okay, I'm tired. was a lot